Hello, my name is Regina deLeon, and I am the Director of Mental Health and Resiliency at Communities and Schools of North Texas. And I just wanted to say thank you for joining me today as I discuss the topic of childhood anxiety. I hope that you will leave today with a better understanding and insight into what childhood anxiety looks like, as well as useful coping strategies that you can use not only with your own children, but with children that you may be working with. So let's get started. Recognizing anxiety and stress in children, signs, symptoms, and coping strategies. Our hope today is that this webinar will provide an overview of anxiety and how it is expressed in children. We will be discussing the signs and symptoms of anxiety as well as numerous coping strategies. In addition, you will be able to take an up-close and personal look at a child's perspective on what anxiety looks like in her body. It will be our interview with the expert. Childhood stress and anxiety. Childhood anxiety affects 1 in 8 children. Children who suffer from anxiety experience fear, nervousness, and shyness, and they start to avoid places and activities. Research shows that untreated children with anxiety disorders are at a higher risk to perform poorly in school, miss out on important social experiences, and engage in substance abuse if they do not receive support. Anxiety disorders tend to be paired with other disorders, such as depression, eating disorders, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and others. Next, we are going to discuss briefly the different types of anxiety disorders. First is generalized anxiety disorder. This is persistent and excessive worry about any number of things that could be real or perceived. Second is panic disorder, which is a type of anxiety that is expressed as sudden feelings of terror when there is no real danger. Agoraphobia is a type of anxiety disorder in which you fear and avoid places or situations that might cause you to panic and make you feel trapped. Next is social anxiety, and it shows up as intense anxiety or the fear of being judged. And finally, there are many different types of phobias that cause anxiety or symptoms of anxiety with various levels of intensity. And as it is stated, depression can often occur with anxiety, as well as other related conditions such as PTSD, OCD, eating disorders, and ADHD. A little is okay. Anxiety is a normal part of childhood, and every child goes through phases. A phase is temporary and usually harmless. There can be an activating event that can initiate an anxiety response. An example of an activating event for a child could be seeing a scary movie, and then the child has trouble falling asleep. After the child experiences a temporary fear, it is important to provide comfort and reassurance. Children may need assistance in talking through their worry, but will be able to calm themselves and return to their daily activities with minimal assistance. Next, it is important to understand what happens when a child is experiencing intense feelings of anxiety. The fight, flight, or freeze response is activated because they believe that they are in danger. The danger may be a real or perceived threat. This is important to note because the child may be triggered based on previous experiences. So for the child, in that moment, they believe they are in danger. They may experience a sense of doom, unease, and apprehensiveness in response to the threat. So let's break down each response. The fight response looks like a child with behavior that can be aggressive or violent. The child may fight with their peers or adults. The flight response is just that. The child may run to escape the intense feelings of fear. Finally, a child may also freeze or become paralyzed in the face of the threat. With any of these 3 responses, the child can be perceived to have a behavior problem or not be participating or engaged in the activity because they are experiencing one of these three responses. What if? Anxiety is the intense emotional response to the anticipation of a future potential threat. The source of the threat may be undefined or unknown and poses no immediate threat to survival. The child is cycling through the what-ifs in their environment around them and is on high alert for potential danger. Where the fear response is short-lived, prolonged anxiety becomes a constant and intense state of being, which may develop into an anxiety disorder. Worries can include health and safety of self and family members, economic hardship within the family, responsibility and pressure to perform well in school, social media exposure, and peer relationships. Children are especially vulnerable to these stressors because they have less control over their lives. Symptoms of anxiety in children. As you can see from this diagram, there are many different responses that could happen as a result of anxiety. Let's explore more in depth some of these responses. They can include tense muscles, sweating, heart pounding, difficulty sitting still, consistent trouble with falling asleep or staying asleep, having nightmares, refusal to go to school, intensely afraid of social or performance situations that involve unfamiliar people or being evaluated by others, restless, jumpy, or on the lookout for something bad to happen, feeling fatigued or out of energy, unable to cope, changes in school performance and poor grades, excessive worry and needing to do things perfectly, somatic complaints such as a stomachache or a headache, serious distress and panic when separated from parent or caregiver, trouble concentrating, complaining of their mind going blank, feeling irritable and upset, having outbursts of anger, withdrawal or avoiding places, people, and situations, aggressive behavior, or not obeying adults in charge. There are many responses that a child may exhibit. Paying close attention to your child's behavior can be beneficial in recognizing when your child may need further assistance in coping with any anxiety they may be experiencing. This takes us into our first segment with our expert as she describes what anxiety looks like in her body. I am back to talk with my special guest, my daughter, Maricela, and she is here to introduce herself. Maricela, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I am deLeon. I'm 9 years old and I'm in 3rd grade.
Okay, and today she is here to talk to us about what anxiety feels like inside her body. And so she's brought something to help us understand what that looks like. So Maricela, if you want to go ahead and bring out your... And so what I asked Maricela to do was to draw what anxiety looks like inside her body. And so she's taken a good week, I would say, to work on this project because she wanted to make sure it was just right to help others understand what anxiety looks like. The goal is to try to make this understandable for parents, to understand what their children might be experiencing and what that looks like in their behaviors, but also for children to understand that what they're experiencing could look very similar to what Maricela experiences. So Maricela, take us through how you came up with your ideas to draw what you've drawn here today.
I'm going to start with the head of Queen Anxiety. She controls your mind and makes sure that whenever you're thinking whatever in your mind, it's just going crazy of your nightmares, basically. So she's making you think of all your nightmares, but worse.
Mm-hmm. So the anxiety in your mind makes you think of nightmares?
Yes.
Yes? Like, tell me more about the nightmares.
Like death or your family being taken away, you're kidnapped, anything that's like very serious.
So you have like big thoughts and big feelings around what's happening inside your brain.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Stella, so tell me and take me more into what you've done and how you've drawn what you've drawn up here inside your head.
I've drawn it rainbow because whenever it's distracting your mind, it's filled with every single color to make you think of different things. So, as in all the colors, as in representing a very nightmare color, even though rainbow is a very colorful, it still is representing something horrible.
Okay, because all of the colors kind of go together.
Yes.
Okay, so whereas they might start out as a rainbow,
Uh-huh.
they start to move into maybe all of one color, or how does that look for you?
How does it look by every color is representing something? So red as in blood, or purple as in the midnight sky or something.
Okay, and what was orange? What would orange represent?
Orange would represent the sunset.
Okay, and the yellow represents?
The sun.
And green?
Poison.
Blue?
Ice, cold.
Okay, the purple?
Midnight sky.
Again, okay, and the pink?
Also goes with the orange as in sunset.
Sunset, okay, and tell me about this design that you put right here. What does this mean?
It's his teeth.
Those are teeth, okay, and then up here, these
Red eyes.
red eyes, and this red again is the color that you said would be blood. Okay, and so when you mix all of this together, what is that telling you inside your brain?
Nightmares.
Those-
Your nightmares, but worse.
Those are the nightmares.
It's adding up. Sunset as in somebody's about to rob you or something because it's almost midnight fall, and blood, and then icy cold, poison, and then these two represent each other.
So there's a lot of thoughts going on in your brain
Yes.
at that time, and it's hard for them to be put those thoughts into to break those thoughts up because
Yes.
the thoughts all go together.
Yeah.
And it gets big and scary when those thoughts all go together.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then you wrote these words. What do they say?
Queen anxiety.
Queen anxiety.
She's the one that controls your nightmares in your mind, but also controls everything else in this picture.
Okay. So this is kind of the center
Yes.
of what happens inside your head and your brain,
Yeah.
but it also affects everything else inside your body.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so take me down to the next space that you would like to talk
Mega
about.
anxiety.
Mega anxiety. Okay.
Mega anxiety is the one controlling the minions, these little green minions, and is in your soft spot, also known as weak spot. My weak spot is my throat, because my tonsils are very big at the age of 9, so it's hard for me to breathe.
Okay. And so that's where your weak spot is here.
Yes.
And so there's a big part of your anxiety that sits in your throat.
Yes.
Yes?
And
Okay.
some people might have different weak spots, but that is my weak spot.
That's where you feel like your weak spot is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the minions, as you called them, right? The green spots. And this is purple though. So is this a minion or is this different than the minions?
These little small cloudy things are minions. This is like alpha number 2, and this is alpha 1.
Okay. Okay. Very good. And so how do these minions work? Tell me more about the minions.
Like in the hand, it's making you shake your hand, or like in the stomach, it's making your stomach feel queasy, or in the arm, it's making your arm it's making your arm go to different places so you can hold yourself up. And the legs, it's making your legs go wobbly. But also, if you like wipe it away, it's still gonna punch your skin to make you do whatever it says.
How would you be able to wipe it away?
By just breathing or using something to distract you.
Okay, so sometimes you're saying that even if you try to wipe it away by breathing, but you still sometimes have the effects.
Yeah.
Your arms might still shake or your hands might shake. Those things might still be happening even if you're trying to do some
Yes.
things to help calm you down.
And then they just get stronger and stronger. And then these things, the ones that are already wiped away, come back and start doing their job again.
Oh, and so that's their job, is that they're trying to.
Distract me and make me
Okay.
nervous and stuff.
Okay. So these little things, even though they're very little, they have a lot of power.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so tell me more, where's the next space that we go to?
how it affects my body.
Okay.
All of them work together. The queen controls the mega anxiety and all of the minions to do what? Except it isn't like, you do this, you do this. It's mainly mind control of what to do. Like, she's sending it to each one to do what to do.
Okay. So again, we go back up to the brain, and the brain is telling, because the brain is having so much trouble working through the different thoughts that are happening up here, right? It's sending out the messages to the body, and the body then, and all these minions are receiving the messages.
Yes.
And the messages are telling the body to do,
the queen is telling the mega anxiety to go to the soft spot and soften it and make it really sad, really powerful. Because one time I had anxiety and it was very hard for me to breathe, so that's what it's doing. And the minions are making my hand shake, my arm shake, and my stomach queasy and everything.
Okay.
And it makes my legs wobbly.
Okay. So you have a full body
Yes.
experience when this happens. So once the brain starts to kick in, it affects your full body, right?
Yeah.
And you're having all kinds of reactions within your body, and all of those reactions together, they can be very upsetting.
Yes.
And so how does it make you feel when you have all those reactions happening at the same time?
It makes me scared, sad, mad because this is happening and I can't control it.
Mm-hmm.
Sad because I feel like this is real, even though it isn't, because the stuff that's happening in my mind, it isn't real, but all of this is happening in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me scared because, well, all of this is happening and I don't know what it is doing, and I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
So you said something very interesting. You said that this is happening in your brain, and even though you know that maybe in your brain that it's not real, your body is reacting, and so it feels very real.
Yes.
And so it almost confuses the two, right?
Yeah.
So then your brain starts to think that maybe this is real.
Yes.
Right?
And then
Because the reaction is so real. You're feeling it. Yes.
Your whole entire body and then your brain start having a fight, and anxiety is still punching and punching and punching.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's really hard to be the winner.
Yes.
That's the part that we try to get to, is how do we be the winner over anxiety, right?
Yes.
Because we don't want anxiety to win.
Yes.
Because when anxiety wins, that makes us feel really bad. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel angry because I can't control it, and I'm scared and I'm sad. It makes me cry. It makes you cry because I don't know if this is real or not, and I don't know what to do. It's like, it's basically controlling me, and my brain is just like back and forth, back and forth. I don't know what to do.
So it's very hard for you to figure out what to do. That's a lot of responsibility, and that's a big, big, big thing for a 9-year-old to figure out how to do, right?
Some may be younger, and I don't know what they're going through.
Right. Well, probably a lot of what you're going through, right?
Yes.
And that they don't know how to do that either because they're younger, or even if someone's older than you, maybe they don't understand either that what's happening inside their brain is affecting what's happening inside their body, as the way you just described it. Yeah. Okay. So tell me anything else. I see that you've got writing on your fingers, so tell me about what's going on there.
I labeled the anxiety minions as anxiety, mega anxiety, and queen anxiety, and all of this.
So you're just describing that it goes down into your fingertips.
Yes.
So your hands can get
shaky and really wobbly.
Okay. And it goes down into your legs.
It goes down into my legs because my legs are like going like this because I don't know how to walk. They're going like like they're going really weird instead of just walking very normal and straight.
So it's kind of like you lose your strength in your legs, right? Okay.
It's like I have no control. I gave up. And now it just controls.
That giving up is the hard part, right?
Yeah.
Because once you get into that give up space, then it's almost like the anxiety is winning up here in your brain.
Yeah, it's like you give up, boom, I win.
Next, we will move into coping strategies that can be helpful for children. Some examples include deep belly breathing. You can do this by placing the hand on their belly or their hand on their belly and feeling the rise and fall of their breath. Carrying with them an object that provides comfort and support, such as their favorite stuffed animal or a blanket. Having them engage in positive self-talk. This includes statements such as, I am strong, I can take deep breaths, encouraging the child to repeat these statements. Calming visualizations are images that the child can think of that brings them a sense of peace and calm. Talk with the child and have them create a list of images that are relaxing to them. Create a worry jar. This strategy can include having the child write or draw their worries on a piece of paper, and then they can collect the worries in a jar. Encourage the process of releasing their worry once they have placed it in the jar. Some children may decide how they would like to release all the worries by throwing them away or tearing each piece of paper into small pieces. Also, it can be important to relieve tense muscles through progressive muscle relaxation. There are helpful YouTube links that are age appropriate for your child to watch to help facilitate this process. Some important strategies in helping your anxious child cope can include modeling self-confidence and calmness. Children are in tune with our emotion, so if we can remain calm with a soft tone to our voice and encouraging words, it can help the child feel less anxious. Creating an experiential environment with your child to talk through their fear with role play and practicing relaxation techniques with your child. Lastly, incorporate art activities. This allows the child to access their creativity and provides a positive outlet for the child to channel their anxious feelings. The next clip from our expert includes how she incorporates and processes through the use of her coping skills. Okay, so that leads us into the next part, is what do you do to help calm the anxiety or to cope with the anxiety? So let's talk about the word coping or coping skills. What does that mean to you?
It means something that I can work with to get the anxiety to go away.
Okay. And what are some coping skills that you know of?
Distracting me by toys or watching a show, or just playing with your dolls or something, or breathing, feeling your stomach rise and fall. Except it doesn't really help me because the anxiety in me is very strong and powerful.
So
it may help the others because it's very little and they're young and this is just beginning to them. But it's not a helping thought to me, but it may help other people that their anxiety is just a small little thing.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes when anxiety is small, we can use some deep breathing as a way to calm the anxiety. But sometimes when the anxiety gets bigger and starts to affect our full body, it's harder to calm it down with just breathing.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to add in other things. So maybe you are breathing, but you're also doing some other things to help distract you.
Yes.
And so some of the things that helps distract you is to watch a show or to play with your toys or in something that can take your mind off of what's happening up here.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you start to do that, what do you notice about yourself when you start to use some of your coping skills? What do you notice about the anxiety inside your body? What starts to happen?
Some of the minions start going away and these start like trying to work harder, but they just also flow away. Mm-hmm. Every single little minion goes away. Then the mega anxiety is probably still there, kicking my throat. Then once the distraction happened, it starts to go away. Mm-hmm. And then the queen anxiety is last, and it starts to flow away too, and my mind starts going off. Mm-hmm. It might be the mainly first thing to go away, so my mind won't think of anything.
So you notice that the first thing that happens is maybe it starts with your mind and your brain.
Yeah, and then it starts with all the effects.
Okay. So your brain gets distracted, okay? And that distraction helps
flush away all the effects.
Oh, very good. Flush away. Those are good words, right? So that's kind of like a washing away of what's happening. And so even your throat starts to open up and you can take deep breaths, just like you did right now, right? And so the throat opens up and you can get air. And because you're breathing and you can get air down your throat, it helps wash away these minions off your body and your hands stop shaking, yes?
Yes, correct.
Yeah? And your legs stop wobbling and you feel stronger and better after you've gone through that process.
Yes.
That's kind of a hard process to go through though, isn't it?
Yeah, whenever it's this strong like this, even though like you get distracted and you feel like, oh, I feel better, I'm gonna go do something now. Like, I don't know, fold your clothes or do some chores. Then it might be like a little bit of something that comes back and like, I'm not giving up, on this, and it starts punching again, and you start feeling like, and you start combing on the ground, because that's what it's doing, and then everybody starts coming back, and then you get anxiety again. So it might be a full wash, or it might just be a little thing that stays.
Okay, so sometimes it can't be a full wash, like you just said. That was very good. So sometimes you can get it to where you feel, oh, so much better, right? But sometimes it might be that you got it some better, but there's still just a little bit hanging on.
Yes.
Okay, and that little bit hanging on, what do you do with that?
I have to go back to my distraction. I can't do anything.
Okay, so you kind of walk through it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except I take a longer, more time so it can all flush away.
Okay, so sometimes you have to repeat it. So just doing it one time sometimes doesn't always get rid of everything. You have to walk through it again. Yes?
Or like if the walking through doesn't work, maybe one little thing is hurting your stomach and you keep going back and back and it won't work. It's probably because you're hungry or something, or you need to like pop your fingers or something to make it like, you know, make you get through it, because there might like, because you've been through the process, so you need to like kind of like just, you know, give it away.
Okay, so you just keep adding to what your list of coping skills, and you just add a little extra sometimes if you need that extra. Yes? Okay. Okay, so I see you wrote some things on here, and is that something that you'd like to talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the main thing, like mega anxiety, queen anxiety, and anxiety minions, what their main center thing is to do.
Oh, okay.
Queen anxiety is the one controlling your mind to think of your nightmares and even more than that.
Okay.
Mega anxiety is the one controlling the minions and is in your soft spot, also known as weak spot in your body, controlling it and making it worse.
Okay.
And anxiety minions are the one making your body do weird things like shaking hands or wobbly or anything, or making you crawl on the floor because you can't walk.
Okay. Okay. So you've really broken it down into levels of what happens inside your body, and you did that really well by describing queen anxiety as being like the center of it all, controlling the brain, controlling the mega anxiety, which is your soft spot. And so soft spots can be different for everybody, right? Yeah, and your soft spot is your throat.
My throat. And some may be like, I don't know, there might be something, infection on your leg or something.
Or maybe it's their belly.
Or maybe something, and it makes them boom, 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 that's your soft spot. And then maybe the mega anxiety, it might go down to the soft spot, soft spot, soft spot. It can go anywhere where your soft spot is.
Okay, and then you've got the minions, of course, are the ones that are going and making the body react.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Maybe if you were to talk to young people your age, maybe a little older or maybe a little younger, what would you like them to know about anxiety?
I would like them to know that even though this keeps coming back, you either have a phone, TV, whatever you need to calm yourself down by a show, because that might help the most. Or if like, I don't know, then the Wi-Fi might not work, you can use your toys or what art and crafts to work something with your mind and everything to wash away.
So arts and crafts is a great idea, right?
Yeah, to like do something to focus on, something to look forward to.
And coloring and painting.
Maybe take a little nap.
Taking a nap could also help calm the anxiety, correct? Yeah?
Or like laying in your bed, feeling the rise and fall of your stomach whenever you're breathing.
Okay, very good. And what would you like, is there anything else that you would like young people to understand about what they're going through?
I want them to know that even though this is happening in your body, you need to know that no matter what, don't give up on this, because it's just going to get stronger and stronger. So you need to know how to control it.
Okay, and that when this is happening to them, that there's not something wrong with them, right? That this
it's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just that this came. There might be something in your life that's happening that made this come. Or like there's something coming and you're getting really excited or really scared or something, and then this pops in your mind and everything, and it makes you really just lose focus on everything.
Okay. If you had to be the one to talk to parents, what would you suggest parents understand about children?
I want them to know that I don't want them to like hurt the child because they don't know what's happening with them. I want them to understand that this is what it looked like inside their body and what they're going through. Of that their hand is shaking, and this is not just like a prank. It is like it's something that's really happening in real life of what is going on with their body.
Okay, so it's really real for them.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and it's really hard for them to control it because
Really.
they're working so very hard to even experience what's happening, but then to know how to control it is also very, very hard.
Yes.
Okay.
There might be something like they might like this might go away or something, or I want parents to know that this is happening in child's bodies, and they need to know that this is going to affect them the most out of everything. So they need to know that this is not some really just horrible thing.
Okay, and that they really need help.
Yes, this
And
is very
understanding.
serious and something that's more important in their body.
So they need someone to listen and to understand and try to help guide them through this process of trying to calm down the anxiety.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Okay. Very good. Any last thoughts or things that you'd like to add?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Thank you, Sela. Included here are some helpful websites that would be good resources for further information on childhood anxiety. The Child Anxiety Network, WorryWise Kids, ADAA, or Anxiety Disorders Associations of America, the Center for Mental Health Services, and the Child Mind Institute. Provided are a list of some examples of helpful books that you can read to your child. I encourage you to access your local library for further resources and books. Bring your child with you and have them help pick out books that are meaningful to them. Including them in this process can be an empowering experience for your child. Lastly, some tips on how to find a counselor. Contact your school's guidance counselor. They will be able to help provide you with resources in the community. You can get a referral from a trusted friend. You can consult 3 therapists before choosing one that you feel will be the best fit for your child. And attend free lectures and parenting workshops. This concludes our discussion for today. I hope that it was beneficial as we looked at an up-close and personal account of what childhood anxiety looks like and how a child processes their anxiety. Please know that this webinar link will be available for future reference. And again, thank you so much for joining me today.